Next one's for Jason. Jason, you mentioned Future Lab's new announcement of its next-gen AI scientist, Cosmos. Can you say more about how your experience at Ginkgo kind of informs your viewpoint on AI, not just analyzing data, but also designing experiments, et cetera?
Yeah, I mean, it's worth folks checking this thing out. I mean, so Future Labs, it's now called Edison Scientific, sort of used to be a nonprofit, sort of doing the open AI thing, becoming a for-profit. But what they're doing is they basically built up a model that's read all the scientific literature. You can kind of ask it like a scientific question. It'll run for several hours, and then kind of come back with either like kind of hypotheses or predictions or learnings or conclusions. And they were able to show this model making several, like, frankly, new scientific discoveries just from reading the literature. So that's already very exciting. Like, I think and it's sort of this indicator that we're on this like inevitable path where I think like the logic of the models, like their ability to just do complex reasoning, is going to work. It already works, frankly. I think the limitation will then move to what tools can you give access to these models? And the big one we believe is important in the realm of science, like I mentioned earlier, is hands in the lab. That's just it. It's hands in the lab. And so that type of a model with the ability to then say, well, what I actually believe I should do to really answer your question based on everything I read in the literature is run these 10 experiments or these 100 experiments, see what I learn, and then run another 100 and do that a few more times. And then I'll come back to you with the answer. I mean, that's what a PhD does. I mean, that's what I did for 5 years at MIT in my PhD. It's like, yep, I got this question I'm trying to answer. I'm going to run some experiments. I'm going to look at the results. I'm going to interpret them, and I'm going to go around that loop. And, a lot of it is understanding what other people have done in the literature. I think that's what this model does from Future House, Edison. And then the other half is kind of just not basic logic, but not the world's most complex analysis of what you're seeing in the lab. It's really your ability to conduct and design the experiments and then interpret the results. Just the craft of that is what keeps a lot of people out of science. And I think that can just be replaced now, I think, with programming and a robotic interface to the lab. And I don't know what that does. I mean, that might blow open access to asking hard scientific questions in a wide number of areas, which would be very exciting. So we'll see. But where we want to provide the hands, that's our role in that. And we're very happy to have other places build those genius models.
So the next question is kind of a follow-up to that one, actually. And so the question is, how do you see this AI plus robotics platform changing the R&D landscape, sort of writ large? And what has the initial feedback been from potential tools customers?
Yeah, so I think if you think commercially, how this could make a big difference, right? So the way, like say drug discovery, for example, right? Like you have an idea, you've read about, again, you've read the literature, you're an expert in this area, you have a hypothesis about a certain disease and how it works, and you're looking for an interesting drug target around your hypothesis. So you would sort of plan a line of experiments. You and a team of researchers would go conduct that over a period of 6 months or a year and a half, and then try to get to an answer on your hypothesis. I think what's exciting is that first, maybe those original hypotheses, maybe stuff like Future House can just come up with those. Who cares? Even if they can't, you always have a longer list of hypotheses than you have the resources to go out and test in the lab based on the number of scientists you have. Like fundamentally, like that is the limit. And so if instead you could basically spider these models out and say, hey, I want you to pursue my top 100 hypotheses instead of my top 3. And for each one, again, it's not just one experiment. It's got to do some lab work, interpret the results, and then plan some more lab work and keep going down that trail. You could be running that across 100 or 1,000 hypotheses in parallel as a single researcher, potentially with access to robotics, to go spider and then have it just come back and tell you when it gets interesting results. And that is just, I mean, I don't even know. That's a fundamentally different way to pursue a goal around, say, how does this disease work? Fundamentally what is limited is reasoning and experimental hands. And if we can take both those off the table, then I think all the cost just turns into like reagent costs. It's like literally the consumables you're going through, which is just crazy. Like that is not at all the cost right now. The costs now are 100% dominated by basically human time in all these areas, really. And like laboratory space, like just like literally square footage. And both of those could compress massively with automation plus AI. It's really exciting.